Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, Libertarian Election Predictions, back at it again with another video. I'm sorry guys for not doing back-to-back uploads, but now that we're almost hitting 1 year since I began my channel. So can't believe it's almost been a year since then. Today's Friday, June 3rd, 2022. So I hope you guys are enjoying your Friday, particularly now that it's the weekend. For me, not so much. I have my SAT tomorrow, so I'm getting ready for that. So I decided I just wanted to take a break and just excuse me. I was just recovering from like a cold I had the week prior, and then it's better now. So yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. I sound a little down, but I had a cold. I had a pretty bad illness last week, so I was like recovering from that. Everything slowed down to a trickle. So yeah, this week I had to really make up a lot of ground. But anyway, I didn't miss school though because why do all the makeup work? So I said I'll just go no matter, even if it feels uncomfortable. I mean, honestly, what's better? What's worse than making up work? Like we're making up 3 school days worth of work. So I decided at least I can get the lesson taught. Anyway, guys, so today we will be discussing the 2024 Senate elections and explain exactly why the Democrats after this election are probably doomed in the Senate forever. So before we guys start, I'm working on an NBC theme. So here's how it looks so far. I'm looking to indicate looking to put boxes here, but I don't want to have to erase all the work I did right here. So guys, this took quite a bit of a time to figure out, get everything good and all that. Even still, I still don't see some things that are good, but and guys, this is on Google Slides, so guys, please tell me what font would be the best for this. So, and I hope you guys watch this very carefully too, because it's really important. Because I'm making one, and I want to make you guys the best election night out there. Certainly, I'm not going to be like USEA, who can Adobe Premiere Pro and all that, and I'm like, how does he have that? But I respect the work he does. His models are an inspiration for mine, and if I could have better software, maybe I could edit my videos better, and I could do these better too. But with what I have, I'm pleased with what I have, and I hope you guys like this. I'm gonna make more slides, and I might even make a template of this if you guys want. I could make a template when I'm finished with this, but anyway, I just wanted to show you guys how this is. So guys, comment down on how this looks, and could I make any changes to this? So without further ado, let's get into the video. So as you can see right now, I have the 2024 map of incumbents listed below. We all know what blue means, Democrat, right? So, and red means Republican. So I guess you guys know that notion. But if you take a look, Democrats have a lot of seats to defend. I mean, it's not like 1 or 2 or 10 seats to defend. You're looking at 23 seats to defend. That's 2.3 times more than the Republicans are defending. And I can right off the bat identify competitive races. So I will put lighter blue for anything that is competitive for Democrats, and then lighter red for anything that's competitive for Republicans. So right now I see Arizona competitive. Right now Kirsten Sinema is very unpopular amongst Arizona Democrats, and she could even be ousted in 2024. Nevada, I see that as another competitive race. Wisconsin, Tammy Baldwin's certainly not going to have certainly, I won't say uphill, but she's going to have to campaign, and if she wins, that's a testament. Ohio, West Virginia, Virginia, if Glenn Youngkin decides to run. I don't know if he wants to run or not, but if he runs, then that is interesting. Pennsylvania will see competitive, even if though Bob Casey, I think, is well liked in the state. Michigan, Debbie Stabenow definitely had a tough race in 2018. Montana for sure will be competitive in 2024. I think that's really it. I could probably even see New Jersey being competitive. I mean, look, our senator, Menendez, is super unpopular, and the only reason why he's being reelected is because this is New Jersey. It's a blue state, and even in a presidential year, I don't see him losing. I think he'll still do bad, but he's not gonna like lose to a Republican unless the Republicans find a good candidate and Menendez screws up big time. So, and you guys may be wondering, why didn't I put Minnesota as some competitive? Well, for one, Amy Klobuchar is super popular in Minnesota. Like she crushed it in rural areas in 2018. There are many rural counties that voted for Trump, voted for her. So, although I sure still think she'll still lose ground in 2024, but I won't see that as a reason that she'll be knocked off unless she has like a very big scandal. Usually, most politicians don't go down unless they are infiltrated with scandals. But on the Republican side, only two races are competitive, Texas and Florida. But I think the GOP are still favored in those states anyway. Anyway, so let's clear up the map and let me talk about my individual predictions. So let's not waste time. Let's just mark any states that I won't see as competitive in blue. So as solid for either party. So that way we're not wasting our time talking about these states. Um, I don't know about Angus King, but Angus King is more solid than Susan Collins, so I would say he's okay there. And Hawaii, yeah, Mazie Hirono easily gonna win there, and New York, who can forget that? So that's right now 13 safe Democratic races, but then the Republicans have Utah, Wyoming. Most of their races are relatively safe for them. Indiana will be safe now that you have no Democratic incumbent there. So now that leaves us with 8 Republicans to 13 Democrats. So 2024 definitely will be a interesting year. It will be a blowout for the Democrats on the presidential level, but there are still many of these longtime Democratic incumbents that are relatively popular, like Sherrod Brown. He's well liked in the state of Ohio, even though Biden is underwater there. But again, nowadays straight party ticket voting is the norm nowadays. It's not like 1996 where you had a Democrat win a state on a presidential level or GOP win the state on a presidential level, but then they simultaneously vote for a senator of the opposite party. I don't really see that happening nowadays. Sorry. So now, without further ado, let's get into our competitive races. So Nevada. Nevada will be really interesting. Jackie Rosen was elected in 2018, defeating Dean Heller by 5%. And to be honest, I don't think anyone expected, to be fair, I don't think anyone expected her to do that well. I think a lot of people counted her out saying, oh, she's weak, you know. And then there were early polls that showed her losing to Dean Heller, but then she narrowly closed the gap and then eventually won. Although, granted, 2018 was a blue wave. All these seats were up in 2018, except we don't have Minnesota and Mississippi having special elections. They were decided in 2020. Their full terms were decided in 2020. But so Nevada will be interesting, but I do see Jackie Rosen narrowly holding on in the state of Nevada. So because I think she has the approval and although she will be facing headwinds, but I think there will be some Democratic turnout that'll help her. Arizona is a really interesting one because Kirsten Sinema is super unpopular. I mean, we can just look at the polls. Just look at the polls. I saw some of these polls earlier, and I can definitely say Kirsten Sinema will be swamped. Just look at the polls. Ruben Gallego, 74-16. Even 10% of undecided voters breaking for Sinema won't do anything. And she's losing to all the Democratic challengers. Like, it just shows how unpopular she is with the Democratic base. And to be fair, she was actually fairly progressive not a decade ago, and I just don't know why she just changed her positions. Maybe it's to get elected. And again, we all know politicians grift, so. But again, when you don't have that incumbent, when your incumbent is losing badly, the opposition party is favored. So I would say Arizona's favored to flip back in 2024. And this will also coincide with Arizona flipping on the presidential level because Biden won it by a hair in 2020. And with the approval he has right now, I cannot see him win back Arizona unless the GOP runs a candidate that is so bad and turns off the electorate in Arizona. But again, as long as that GOP candidate doesn't attack McCain and is a moderate Trumpist, then I can definitely see Arizona backing the GOP. And in the Senate, same thing, because when you primary out an incumbent, it sends a signal to voters that your party's weak and you don't have a nominee, and then they'll often go to the other party. And by the way, I do want to. And in 2024, I've not decided on who I want to vote for, but I'm thinking of going third party, considering I just don't like both major parties. I just don't like these partisan fights. I mean, no matter whether we're right on the right or left, it's not right or left. It's more about partisan fights. One party like blocking the other from doing anything, and this is why our country is in the state it is right now, where we have crisis upon crisis. It's because not just because of leadership, it's also because of the parties, and how. And I get they can be opposed, but when you got too much polarization, you see what happens, guys. So this is why I'm going to vote third party when it comes to 2024. So moving up north to the state of Montana. Montana is interesting as Jon Tester has managed to win, and he's always been lucky to win too. It's not like he was popular and then won. But he was reelected in 2018. So but I do not see Tester surviving in a wave in a 2024. This will be his first real test, and I think Montana. I do not see. And if Montana's already voting for the GOP in 2024, like 20+%, it'll be very difficult for Tester to convince more than 20% of Republican voters to vote for him. Although by the time he's been in the Senate for like 16 years now, so he has that incumbent approval. But again, straight ticket voting is just too popular and prevalent now. So I give Montana as likely GOP. Although I think Tester could end up defying the odds and win re-election. So far the GOP has already flipped 2 seats from the Democrats, just saying how this could be a bloodbath. Texas, I expect that to be likely, even though Ted Cruz definitely had a difficult time in 2018 with Beto running a good campaign. But I think Beto also made a misstep of saying, I'm going to take your guns away, and that doesn't bode well in Texas. But again, I won't count out the Democrats in Texas either, because I think Scott Kelly's brother, I think, is planning to run for Senate, and he's an astronaut just like his brother. So I'm interested to see how that'll play out. But again, national environment will probably affect a lot of these Senate races. Wisconsin. Wisconsin will be really interesting as Tammy Baldwin did crush her opposition. I think it was like Lee Vukmir in 2018, right? Wait, yeah. Where's Wisconsin? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so she crushed Lee Bookmere, and she was a weak candidate. To be honest, she was fairly weak. I'm not saying this as like a Trumpster, but in an unbiased perspective, she was relatively weak, and this was a wave year. But again, I don't see Tammy Baldwin enjoying this level of success in 2024. I still see her winning though, considering she's progressive and a populist, and that will help her win Bernie bros, particularly Bernie won the Wisconsin primary handily against the Clinton establishment. So I see Tammy Baldwin narrowly winning in the state of Wisconsin. Moving over to Michigan. Michigan will be interesting as Debbie Stabenow only won by 6 points when most pollsters suggested she'd do very well in this. Oops, sorry guys. Sorry. But she did lose a lot of ground, particularly if you look at 2012. She absolutely blew it out. And now in 2018, John James won a lot of the counties. But again, John James could have done a lot better, but this was a Democratic wave year. And if she's only winning by 6 in a Democratic wave year, what does it suggest? It suggests that she could probably lose in 2024. But again, I think she's still going to probably edge it out by maybe 2 or 3 points. So I'll give Michigan as a lean Democratic race. Moving on to Ohio. So Ohio is really interesting as Sherrod Brown has consistently crushed it. And granted, he did those in wave years. It's not like he was like did it in a presidential year. He won by 8%, but you can see like he's fairly popular. And look at this, he broke 70% in Cleveland. He broke 60% in working class in the Northeast Ohio, and he narrowed down Renasi or Renaki's. I don't know if you're from Ohio, Buckeye politics. Please correct me on this. If it's whether it's Jim Renasi or Jim Renaki. So Buckeye politics, please correct me on this. But he won a lot. He didn't win a lot of these, but if you look at 2012, he definitely did win some rural counties. He won the um what is this region called? Appalachian, Ohio. In 2006, he blew it out with Mike DeWine. He blew it out. And DeWine was like at a 38% approval at the time. And then, as you can see, but Josh Mandel did his best in Western Ohio. And even there, and Sherrod Brown still limited his margins. And even there, too, he limited Renaki's margins as well. So, even if he may have lost some ground, but he still, I think, is favored, relatively popular in Ohio, and he's currently more popular than Portman. So I would say Ohio is currently would lean Democratic, even though I think Trump would carry it on the presidential level. I think him being a hybrid of Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, like a moderate working class Democrat, really helps him in the state of Ohio. Moving on to Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania, Bob Casey's super popular. I cannot say how popular he is. Like he literally Pennsylvania voted to the left of New Jersey. Interestingly, Bob Casey won by more in 2018, and then Bob Menendez did in the same year in a safer in when Menendez running behind Casey in a swing state. Just shows you how popular Casey is, and I do not see Casey going down. So even if Biden loses Pennsylvania by 1 or 2%, I still see Bob Casey winning Pennsylvania by a healthy 6-7 points. He's popular there and has the name recognition. And I don't know who the GOP will field in 2024. So because of the lack of candidates, I'm going to give Pennsylvania as likely to the Democrats. I think Casey's a much better incumbent than someone than Pat Toomey, who I think is retiring. So now, and officially Mehmet Oz has conceded to John Fetterman. So we'll see how that plays, because John Fetterman had some health issues over these last 3 weeks, and I think certainly Oz could use that as a talking point. But again, I think Fetterman could use policy and say that Oz is a grifter. And to be fair, Oz is, like considering he lived in New Jersey for a very good amount of time before moving to Pennsylvania because it offers electoral advantages for him. But again, that's not what we're discussing. So I think Bob Casey will end up winning his race by 6 to 7 points. So moving on to New Jersey. So New Jersey is interesting because Bob Menendez is actually underwater, and he's been underwater for like a good amount of time, at least for the better part of last 7-8 years. He's been underwater, but again, he just keeps getting elected because this is New Jersey. This is a safe Democratic state. So again, I'll give him likely Democrat because it's going to be a presidential year. If this was like a normal off year, I would say he would do like 2 to 4 points ballpark. But I think in a presidential year, he'll probably win by the same amount Casey does, or he'll do slightly better than Senator Casey. But the fact that Pennsylvania and New Jersey are almost equivalent to each other just shows that the Democrats are probably doomed. And if this is a very good year, I could see Republicans flipping the Rust Belt. But again, I think these incumbents are just popular enough to not really lose their seats. West Virginia. I think West Virginia will be a likely Republican flip. As much as Joe Manchin is popular, as much as he's been an elected official there for a long time, I just see West Virginia's political trends catching up to Joe Manchin. I think West Virginia is so Republican of a state there. Even though he can pull off a lot of Trump voters, I think he'll still end up outperforming Biden by 30-35 points. But again, Yeah, this is a presidential year. This isn't 2018. So, and even then, Bear Manchin only won by 3 points against Patrick Morrissey. So, if someone else runs like Alex Mooney or even a Mooney runs, then I could definitely see West Virginia flipping to the GOP. So right now, that is 3 flips for the GOP so far. Virginia will be interesting. I think Virginia Tim King will narrowly hold on against Glenn Youngkin because I don't know if Glenn Youngkin will run for Senate in 2024. I don't know. If he does, I think he could come close. But it all depends on his approval rating. Let's go. Let's pray that his approval rating is good. Because as much as we may not like certain politicians. Not to say that I hate Youngkin or anything like that. Even if we don't like Dems or Republicans, we still gotta pray that they're doing this stuff for the people and their approval is good, right? But again, Virginia in a presidential year is still likely to back the Democratic Party. So I could see Virginia tilting in favor of Tim Kaine. Plus, Tim Kaine is a relatively good incumbent too. He's not a weak incumbent either. But I won't say he's as strong as Mark Warner though. Moving down to the state of Florida. So Florida is interesting because I think Stephanie Murphy might run in Florida in 2024. She bypassed a 2022 run, so I have to go back now. Yeah, so Florida. I would say Florida. Rick Scott is like a weaker incumbent. I'd say Rick Scott is a weaker incumbent than Marco Rubio because Rick Scott only won very narrowly, but it is still a testament, that Rick Scott still beat Bill Nelson, who was not even underwater in the state, and so I think that could make him a strong incumbent. But again, I don't think he's as strong as Marco Rubio. But again, given how Florida's trending and given how the Latinos in southeastern Florida are trending, I can definitely see Rick Scott winning his race by a healthy 2.5, 3.5 points. Anyway, guys, this is my 2024 my bad predictions. So Republicans have gained 3 seats from the Democrats, although I think they could gain more, particularly Ohio. But again, but it's based on like the incumbents because again, polls don't really mean anything. It's just based on the incumbents' job performance. Like if the incumbents are polling are approved of and are doing well, then I can definitely see them getting reelected despite the political headwinds. And you guys, if you guys like the prediction, please like, comment, and subscribe. I know it's a little early to tell, but these are my like speculative predictions. But it's eager to see on November 5th, 2024, on how Democrats will perform. And it will be interesting, too, because, we will be like 2 years older. I know some of you guys will be in high school at the time. Some of you guys will reach voting age. I'm going to be voting this year. And to be honest, I'm divided on who I'm going to vote for. I don't know. I'll let you guys know in November, maybe once I make a decision. But again, I want to inform. I really want to inform myself on like the issues and make sure I'm really voting and for my interests and not. And I don't want to vote against my own interests because that's really a problem in our democracies where we have a lot of people who we're informed, but a lot of them vote against our own interests. So yeah, it'll be exciting this year to vote for the first time ever, and I think it's really important that you guys vote. Whenever you become a voting age, it's really important that you guys go out to vote. It's just even if we feel like nothing changes, the only reason nothing changes is because we don't come out and vote. If we come out and vote and show these politicians we're the boss of them, then we can get more things that we like stuff like where we can get a government that works for people, where we can get speech that doesn't target and then that where we can get speech that isn't censored, like big tech doesn't censor conservatives or even liberals for that matter, and where we can get money out of our politics. That way, we can get a politician force that works for us and is not beholden to corporate donors. And you guys, I'm going to be signing off this video, so I'll show you guys my NBC election night graphics. I hope you guys liked it, and if you guys did like it, please like it. If you guys have any suggestions on what if I could make this better, please let me know in the comments, and hope you guys liked my video today. So I'm signing off for now, and right now, libertarian election predictions out.